inviting, but that's not the matter now. Welcome to Tier 2 of Season 7 of Aero League Racing here at France. We're here for round 6 of the championship, with next week we're in Austria. The standings right now in in Tier 2 are, let me actually check them, standings. Our trucker is in the lead, followed by Engbank, Mersault, Jackin, Joe Roll, Rosdon, Storm 72, Istro, Swandeman, Heidi, Babunjay, Atoni MC, sorry if I mispronounce any names, Robin J 97, Twanak, Papimo, oh it's just Nico, Brazumi, oh no, Brazemu 321, Jamie and Wilts. That's the order of drivers, and in the teams it's AlphaTauri that's leading, followed by McLaren, Red Bull, Mercedes, Williams, Haas, Alpine, Aston Martin, Ferrari and Alfa Romeo. Okay, so they could hear me. I fixed it now. With only 11 drivers, this is going to be a good race for those who want. There are going to be lots of points, of course, for those who don't DNF, because basically if you don't DNF you're practically in the points, except if everyone finishes, then it's only one guy that does not get any points. And I already see I made a spelling mistake in the title. It says round 4, but obviously it's round 6. I was in a bit of a rush, so I messed that one up. So today we have Rostorm, Papimo, Welch, Engbank, Joey Rowe, Storm 72, Swandeman, Oswaldo Romeo, El Trucker, Norwich Fan and Jamie with us, with hopefully others joining later. Better set the tires, on which the best lap was set, with lap data and a full track map, as we can see Jamie entering. He's followed by, I think that's Swen. Yep. And there's now a whole lot of people coming out of the pit lane. These three are going to have to live with the fact that they need to leave space for each other. And it's actually Trucker that's the first guy out. So that was my mistake. Looks like he won't be having any traffic unless someone exits the pit lane right now. Oh, and I think that's a McLaren. Yeah. Yeah, he cut the corner and he went too far. But not to worry now, as Trucker crosses the line to start the first flying lap of this weekend. Or of this week, I guess. I don't know how early the other teams went. As he said, a good first sector, I think, as we're going to see a 22-0. I'm now going to check Jamie, see if Jamie can do it faster. Jamie is not faster. And is Sven faster? I don't think so. So we're back on board with Trucker. And it's 49. I didn't see the final digit. As we can see, Jamie with a 49.7, not fast enough. What about Sven? 49.6, and that's the fastest second sector. So Trucker and Sven are close to each other. As Trucker now comes onto the back straight, opens DRS nice and early, and it's going to be a 1:29.0. Jamie goes back into the pits after invalidating, and Sven continues on, opens DRS. This has to be a better lap, and it is a 1:28.2. And it's Bapimo following the... Can he beat Sven's time of 1:28.8? I don't think he can, honestly. As he comes up to the line. And he does beat it by 2/10. As we can see, the Alpine crossing the line, and that didn't count. And Joey was also on his outlap, I think. Or the Alpine just hindered him. Storm is going for his lap as he opens the DRS. And it's a 1:29.0, last place. Obviously, Trucker on the way back to the pit lane. World's now on a fast lap, but that's an invalidated one. Joy is on a lap. Ank is on an out lap. So the closest one to be is Joey or Joe. I think it's Joe actually. So Joe Royal is now coming into the third sector, into the final few corners. As he comes through the penultimate corner and he goes back into the pit lane. He did not think the lap was good enough, and he goes out of it. Same with Storm. What has been going on there? I don't know what happened between Jamie and Ankbank, but Something did happen between the two of them. As Jamie now starts his lap. No invalidations in turns 1 and 2. As he spins it around. Oh. Just before the session time, the sector timer, right after it I should say. He is not going to be happy about that one. And let's see, we could focus on Trucker, who is invalidated on his out lap. And he might or just may not get traffic on his lap, as there are a few people ahead of him. As he now goes for the start lap, or the flying lap I should say. The question is, will the second Mercedes and Red Bull get in his way, or will he stay out of that trouble? Sector time in 1, he's 2/10 quicker up his time, but he goes off track and he does not invalidate. The Mercedes slows down like he should, so Trucker has no trouble passing him. Through the second sector chicane, no problems right there. He is 3/10 up his time, fastest sector 2. But now is the problem, he's closing up to the second Red Bull, or to the only Red Bull I should say. Actually, that was an Alpine, or Williams, sorry, that was a Williams. And he comes around, opens the DRS on the start-finish straight. What is it going to be? It's a 1:28.6. Let's see, the next one on the lap is Sven. As you see, yellow flag as Trucker does let the Red Bull by, and he does let the Mercedes by. So what they, or the Williams, what they did to him, he does back to them. So that's nice to see. Knowing when you have to back out of something, or not even back out, but just not get involved. As you can see, Swan coming through the final few corners. The final corner hits the apex, comes out wide, hits the DRS. Coming up to the line, what is it going to be? It's going to be a small improvement, but not enough, but the fastest sector 3. With Storm coming up behind him. Storm was not having the best lap first, and now he opens his DRS. As he's coming up to the line, what's it going to be? It's going to be an improvement by 134 tenths, but that's not enough. How about Engbank? Not set the lap yet, pushing it to the line, and DRS is open. What's it going to be? It's going to be a 1:29.5, even slower than Storm, but he was on mediums. And now Oswaldo coming up to the line with DRS open. He comes across the line and it's P6 on softs, 1:28.9. Then we can see the Alpine of Worlds coming up, but Worlds has invalidated and this will not count. Jamie is on his outlap. I don't know what Wilts is going to do, honestly. If he has... Let me actually check. Oh. I can't see the fuel levels. I think it's 2 point something. It's stupid that it's not green or red anymore, like it is in the... Or like in the races, it's green when you have enough fuel, red when you don't. But obviously there is no set amount of laps you have to do, so... It doesn't show the amount of laps you, or the amount of fuel you have. But outside of that, we know for sure Jamie is going to set a lap right now. We don't know for sure about Wilts, and if I see Wilts not coming into the pits, I know enough. As Jamie just has set the fastest second sector. Jamie obviously is a fast guy, as the Aston Martin moves out of the way and gives Jamie a clear path to take. And as expected, Wilts back into the pits. He gets one more lap after this to set things right. As Jamie now comes onto the final corner. Hits the apex beautifully, stays on the curb, opens DRS, comes up to the line to set a 1:28.9, enough for P5. Fastest second sector and fastest third sector, but it would not stay. If he's fast, he may be able to set just another lap at the depth of the session, but I have no faith in it. I also see no activity in the garage as of yet. Actually, it's Joe going out first. And I can see Papi Mo going out after him, I think. Yeah, the mechanics are doing shit in the garage. So the Mercedes going has set some cars to think about going out. Actually, it was only Papi that was triggered by the Mercedes. As he fully cuts the first turn. Is this allowed, guys? Holy fuck, is this allowed? That was the biggest cut I've ever seen. As the Ferrari of Jamie comes back in and he may be able to go out for another lap. Surprisingly, Ross, Wills and Joey has not set a lap. What Wills is he invalidated 12. Twice. I don't think I've seen Ross out, and I know for certain that Joe has already invalidated once. As I can see activity, it's Swank going out of the pit lane right now, and I think that's Storm as well. But will Storm get in the way of his teammate? I think he's going slow out of the pit lane, but he's followed by truckers, so he can't go too slow. As Joe starts his lap, the AlphaTauri gets out of the way nicely. It's now getting busy out of the garage. And the Mercedes moves out of the way. Storm having respect for Joe and the rules, and he shows it. But watch out, because the Red Bull of Papi is also behind them. They will have to let him pass, or they're going to have heavy traffic. Everyone is out there except Engbank and obviously Norwich. I don't think that Engbank is going to set another time. He knows he gets the advantage of starting on mediums. The question is Ross also on mediums going to beat him? As we can see with Joe, he is out on mediums as well. Leaving it quite late to save this set of mediums. As almost everyone is now on their laps. Yeah, everyone is now on their laps, I think. And we can see Joey coming across the line. It's 7th place. He's faster than Hank. Papimo across the line. He is faster by 2/10. Engbank retired. Yeah, Swan is the next one. As we can see, everyone now has started their laps. There is no one else going to set laps. Or like start laps. As we can see, a Ferrari pulled over. I think that was a spin from Jamie. And that's Jamie's session over. And I think Wilds has made a mistake. Wilds has invalidated. There will be no other time set by Wilds. Wilds will be starting in P10. As you can see, Swan now coming through to the line. And it's a 1:28. He stays in 3rd. Trucker, can Trucker get his chance and take ball? He does. It's a 1:28 too. Does Storm also have a chance of taking it? No, he doesn't. He stays P4. Osvaldo coming up to the line. And it's P5 for Osvaldo. As you can see, Ross now coming up on mediums. Ross takes P9 and stays there. Obviously Wilds no improvement. And that was the last one. Everyone else has gone to the pit lane. And that means session end. It's quite the qualifying session with Trucker and Papimo lining up on the front row, followed by Sven and Storm on the 2nd row. Osvaldo and Jamie makes the 3rd row with Joe and Engbank on the 4th row. Ross and Wilds take the 5th row and Norwich Van is the only one on the 6th row. Everyone is on softs except for Joe. Let me check for Joe, Engbank, and damn it, the screen disappeared. Let me check. Ross, Eng, and I don't know the 3rd one. I'm sorry. Also, we do not know on what tyre Norwich is going to start since he has free tyre choice. So we're waiting right now on the session starts in 13 seconds. It looks like it will be a dry weather here on Paul Ricard, so no trouble of rain so far. As we're going to get started with the formation lap. It is Wilds who is also mediums. Yes. At least I think. Let me... Yes, no, Wilds is on the hards. Oh no, didn't want to remove that. And it looks like Trucker has put a gap which is weird in information lab. Papi is going a little bit slower. He's closely followed by Swan, Storm, Oswaldo, Jamie, Joe, Ank, Ross, Wilts and Norwich. But now there is a gap, but don't expect this on race start. It's not the longest run onto turn 1, but it's also not the shortest. There is plenty of chance to overtake, but there's also plenty of mistakes to be made into turn 1 and 2. Because the track limits on turn 2 are just murderous. But that's not for our drivers to worry about right now. The entire top 6 on softs, 7 to 9 on mediums, 10 on hards and 11 on mediums is how it stands with the tires. As they're going through the final turns now, and there was a brake check I think from Trucker. Babi is lucky to avoid it. As they're now being taken over by AI, I'm sure. Yeah, they're definitely taken over by AI. And they're now on their way to the grid spots. I always like to focus on number 3 for the start sequence. As they're all pulling up on the grid. Parking their cars. All the way up to Norwich. As we're waiting, I don't see the lights. Is it just me or... Oh, there are the lights. 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights, and it's... lights out and away we go. And it looked like a great start from Ankbank. As we can see Swan moving on the outside into first place. Does he keep it? No, it's Papi who gets him. Then it's Trucker. He's back into third. But with Trucker going off track, he has a chance to get it back up. As we can see in the back, Jamie is losing positions fast. Norwich fan is making it count as he finds Ankbank and gets P7. P6 maybe, because Joe is not having the greatest. Joe comes back on track dangerous and there is contact between the two. I don't know if there is damage. Doesn't look like Joe has damage, so there probably isn't any damage at all, but that was a very, very dangerous move. As Joey moves into the very last place. Meanwhile, with the lead, Papi, Trucker, Swan, Storm, Oswaldo is how it stands with the top 5. Oswaldo being haunted by Norwich and Ankbank. There is a small gap between Jamie, Welch and Ross and Joey. Poor Joey has damage. There has to be damage. Yes, he's missing one of the front wing end plates. He is going to have to pit, and with him wanting to go long on mediums, that was not in his strategy. But he's not alone. Jamie is also in the pits. And you can see the Ferrari pit crew ready with the win. There's yellow flags and it looks like Norwich fan has spun. I don't think there's damage, but I need a closer inspection on that. No, doesn't seem there is damage. Meanwhile, at the front, there is now almost 1 second gap between everyone in the top 3. This is going to get a close fight. Swan is losing time and is probably more thinking about the fence. as Storm is 7 tenths behind him. The gap between Trucker and Papi on the moment is 8 tenths, but is coming down a bit. Obviously, with the long straight, power car is not hard to overtake. The hardest parts are actually turn 11 till the final one, and turns 3 until 7 or 8. And then there is just the straight with the chicane where you can easily overtake, and the start finish straight with turns 1 and 2. As Oswaldo, Storm and Sven are still locked into battle. That's the closest battle we got right now. As Ank has fallen 2 seconds behind Oswaldo. Norwich definitely suffering from the spinning heads as he's lost time to the rest of the pack. And the top 3 is just flying away, especially Trucker and Papi. Let's look on board with Storm as he's chasing down Sven. Sven makes maybe a small steering mistake, and it allows for Storm to close up to him. How does it look from Oswaldo? Oswaldo has fallen a bit back. Ross is also falling back. And here we go, going into the final few turns. This is where Storm can make or break it. And remember, even though the gap is already going down, from this lap onwards, there's DRS. Actually, there is already DRS, what am I saying? As Sven is clearly feeling the pressure. He knows he needs to break the DRS, but he knows there is a little chance of doing that. Oswaldo also is using this to catch up. This is going to be a 3-way fight for the podium. As Sven cuts the track limits 1 time too many and gets a 3-second time penalty. And with the Mercedes and the Aston Martin on his tail, that's not helping. Storm does not go for the move, but it's only a matter of time before Storm uses the DRS to blast past his teammate. Or he just pulls alongside, going onto turn 10. Dangerous corner to go side by side. Who is backing out? It's Storm. But Storm getting immediately back at his rival. Yes, Wardo is getting his sights in. They are going side by side now. And it's Oswaldo who takes the position. Sven is having a bit of a breathing gap, but that will calm down soon enough, because Sven is past Storm. As Trucker pits, probably damage. I don't know. Do they have a win out, or is it only a win? It's only tire changes. It's a fast pit stop. Sven now in second, followed by Oswaldo and Storm. These 3 are really scrapping it out. Oswaldo is only 1/10 away. He is alongside. And he's passed. Before the high-speed chicane, before the chicane. And he's done it. He is up into second. But the battle is not over yet, as behind them we can also see Engbank and Welch coming close together. You can still see the fighting tree ahead of them, which is a real great view. And I think we might see some more guys coming into the pit lane. Yes, it's Swan coming into the pits. Is he alone? Looks like he's alone. He is going for the undercut on these guys. And for the overcut on Trucker. But will it work? The overcut is not working. Trucker is coming down the straight. And he's got the position back on Swan. As I think that was Engbank getting a 3-second time penalty, now in 4th. As Storm and Oswaldo are still fighting on it. As you can see, Woods overtaking Engbank on hards. Just look at this, he's in P4 on hards. Wilds is really making up in this Grand Prix. As Oswaldo is having to defend against the Mercedes behind him. He leaves the gap open and Storm is going for it, but he's not alongside enough to be able to make it stick. And he's having to look onto the back rear wing of that Aston Martin just a little longer. As the Aston Martin now shoots into the pit lane. And he's not alone, he has Papi with him. Does Swan jump any of them in the pit lane? And do any of them jump Trucker? Here comes Trucker, there is Papi, and Trucker has got the position on Papi into the pit lane battle. Papi's overcut lasted just a little bit too long, and he's lost position against Trucker. Meanwhile behind them, Swan and Oswaldo are having quite a big gap behind them, but remember, Swan is having a 3-second time penalty. Papi's back to chase down Trucker. And this is going to be a fight through traffic to see who will prevail. There is 20 laps or 20 and a half laps left to go. This can still be anyone's race. As actually for the lead, Storm is pitting. Wilds is going to take off the lead with Engbanks right behind him. And being on hards, that gives him the advantage against the Williams and the McLaren. Also, he is going to have better mediums at the next stint, which might help him out. Going on to alternate strategy. As the gap between him and Engbank is increasing. He's just faster than Engbank. Engbank's mediums looks like they're running out. Meanwhile, Papi, 2 tenths to Trucker. Trucker, 2 tenths to Norwich. This is going to be an epic battle, like I said, through traffic. As they're trying to make up the positions. Is Trucker going to stay behind him? No, he's going to put it alongside. Is the contact? I think Norwich went a bit too wide there. And there is pieces of braking board flying around, and Trucker now has a car between himself and Papi. But there is one thing, Papi could on purpose stay behind the McLaren, just for that extra DRS boost he can use. Because look at this, the rear wings of the McLaren and the Red Bull open, while Truckers is not open. Is this going a three-way fight for the place? There is no contact, but it's really freaking close between Trucker and Norwich. Norwich being overtaken just doesn't take it that easily. He wants to take that position back. As the DRS opens once again for the Red Bull and the McLaren. They're chasing each other down. The outside is for the McLaren, and it's Norwich who takes back the position, but has to take a 3-second penalty with it. And it's the AlphaTauri that batters him into turn 10. They're not alongside, and Norwich has to leave the track for a little bit. This fight is exciting as it could be, with Sven and Oswaldo closing up to them once again because of the fighting. But it looks like Trucker has secured the place ahead of Norwich, and it's up to Papi to overtake Norwich and get back up to Trucker. Meanwhile, the gap at the front is increased to 3 seconds, and it's Engbank now fighting a McLaren. Which is pretty ironic, because last season he was pretty dominant in the McLaren. Ross doesn't really have anything to say against Enk, because on pace there is a second between them, so there is no DRS for the McLaren. Just let me check the gaps behind. 2 tenths between Papi and Norwich is still half a second down on Trucker. Even when you're not watching these three go at it, you can see the excitement as Papi now overtakes Norwich and is going to give chase to Trucker. These three have been really fighting for a while, and it's now Norwich that's going out behind Trucker and Papi, who are going to continue to fight for potentially the lead of the race. Actually, potentially, probably. The gap between Trucker and Wilt is just 16 seconds, I would say. That's not enough to fit a pit stop into it, so this is for the potential lead of the race. As Papi puts it alongside, but not alongside enough. These two are really going at it today. They've both already proven what they can do. Trucker mostly in the Project Cars division, and Papi has shown incredible pace overall. And right now these two are going to fight out who is the king of France of Tier 2. And there haven't been that many collisions. Tier 2 is one of the cleanest tiers so far I've seen. As there is a small corner cut and a 3-second time penalty for Papi as he makes the overtake on Trucker. So that's going to hurt the fight a lot. He really needs to pull away if he wants to take the win for home. And it looks like Engbank is in the pit lane. But with the cars in such a group close together, he's going to lose a whole lot of positions. as there they go past him. He goes from third into, no, second into ninth right now. That may become 10th if Jamie overtakes him. Jamie does not overtake him, so it's P9 for rank bank on fresh hearts. And from Swan's POV, you can see how close it is to the podium. He opens the DRS. He's gaining on Norwich. Norwich a bit swervy, but that doesn't matter. He leaves it late braking. Papi goes off track ahead of him, gets a 5-second penalty for that. And it's Swan who takes P5. With now Trucker ahead of him. He can see his prey. He is getting closer and he's pushing to get that P4 and actually P3, because with the penalties Papi is not going to keep it. I mean, Swan also probably isn't going to hold it with his 3 seconds unless Trucker gets a penalty. But those are only if scenarios. As it's now Norwich in the pits, together with Jamie. So I think this is Jamie's second stop right now. And Osvaldo also 3-second time penalty. I was just about to say Oswald is also go maybe for the race win, but never mind, he got a penalty. And the leading guy, still with 16 seconds, is our good friend Wilts on his hearts. It might even be that the one stop of Wilts is going to get it and secure the win for Alpine. Because there is quite a gap between them. As it's Ross in the pits right now. After this there is nothing between Papi, Mo and Wilts. And we can see that Ross comes out in P8. Hank Bank just gets him. And back to the action. Swan, another 3-second time penalty. His chances for the win are ruined by penalties. As for Trucker doesn't need to overtake. He just needs to stay in an 8-second gap without invalidating or without getting a penalty or anything of the like. As you can see, he's really close. He is alongside. He has to back out, but goes for the switchback and takes second place. Even though Papi is still there, Papi takes the place back. There is no contact. This Norwich fan has spun and is, I don't know what he's doing. But he got 3 seconds. And it's a 10-second penalty for Norwich. This is not Norwich's best race. I also totally missed that Papi has taken the position back. No, actually Papi did in Sector 3, so Norwich fan is going to get disqualified at this point, and I think there's heavy damage from him, he has no front wing. And I think that's floor damage as well. Oh! How did that not DNF him? But he retired anyway. So everyone who finishes is in the points, as Papi and Trucker are still at it, with Oswaldo running a bit right in the background. Trucker now, going to pull it alongside. Yes? No? No, he's not. Is he going to pull it alongside now? No. He expects the Papi to defend the inside and he gets wrong. This fight is only helping Wilds, who is still 16.5 seconds ahead. But this fight is for seconds and there are 4 cars involved there. We're looking on board with Oswaldo. Now, frick Oswaldo, we're going to Trucker because Trucker just tried a move into the inside of turn 1. You can see he has a better run than Papi, but is it going to be enough? No, it's not. On the DRS straight is his next opportunity to take second place of Papi and give chase to Wilds. Wilds is actually doing an absolute massive job. I think once he pits for mediums, he's golden for the win. Talking about the win, Trucker just obliterated the pace of Papi and has overtaken him to give chase after Wilds. But the horror for Papi is not done yet, as behind him it's Swan. Now that he doesn't have the clean air anymore, he's having to adjust his lines a bit. As the leader is in, Wilds just entered the pit lane. He is having to hope that his team is so incredibly fast that he can get out in front, as the rest also pits. The only one who doesn't pit is Papi. And it actually looks like that Wilds has just secured the win here just now. He only has to beat Storm on newer, softer tires, and the win may be his, as Papi is going to have to pit on from those mediums. There's no way those go 19 laps. But in the pits, Oswaldo jumped Swan, as Wilds does get a penalty. Once in free air there was nothing wrong, and now there is, but he does get past Storm, and he's back in second. With quite a gap to Trucker, to be honest. And with them being on the same tires, I don't see Trucker catching up to Wilds to 3 seconds, but you can never say never in this type of sport. As it's now indeed Papi in the pits. And it will be Wilds who is going to reclaim P1 as he crosses the pit lane. As the Rebel gets released, but is it released in time? Or will his rivals catch up to him? Here comes Trucker. And here come Oswaldo and Swan. It's going to get close, but they do get the Red Bull. And to make it even better, they're going side by side, and it's Swan who gets the position for now, but Oswaldo is still alongside him. There is almost contact between the two, but they leave respect, they leave each other alive. And I can't believe my eyes. Papi is on the softs. There is still 9 laps to go. Will his softs go that long? And as we can see, Welch has already a seizable gap to number 2. The strategy here, the one stop, is superior, as it looks like. Sven and Oswaldo still going side by side through sector 3. It's just lovely to see those guys go at it, as Wilt set the fastest lap of the race, a 1:39. As Papi is getting really impatient behind the Haas. And he's going for it and he has it. Or does he? Yeah, he does. Papi into P6. 8, sorry. And looks like Sven is a bit falling behind now. As the gap is already 8 tenths, I'm going to grab a drink real quick. Nobody overtake each other. Actually, this is a bad time in, as Papi makes the overtake before the corner on Oswaldo and is up into 7. And now I'm going to get the drink. Sorry about that, as Rhodes now sets a 1:30.815 is the fastest lap, and the gap is now 4.8 seconds between him and Sportom, and there is no doubt that unless he does something stupid, Rhodes has the French Grand Prix and is going to be the king of France here. Although Papi Mo a 1:30.736, fastest lap of the Grand Prix. But the gap may be too big. With only 8 laps left. Let's see, where's the others? Enk is really in no man's land. Ross isn't doing anything much. Tucker is catching up to Joe. With Papi now going to chase Trucker and Oswaldo being sent back to... actually not sent back to Sven. Sven is falling too far back. Sven is going to have to defend his position against Jamie because of penalties. But remember, all 10 of these will get points. I think. Do DNFs get points? I don't know. As Enk is starting to catch Storm now. Haven't seen too much from the Williams now. But Storm on those old tires is not going to hold out too much. As there is actually a fight going on between Papi and Oswaldo, even though it may not seem like it. These two are really close together. The Aston Martin versus the Red Bull. The softs obviously will be going off at the end, so Papi may have troubles here with Oswaldo if he doesn't get rid of him fast. With the gap being around 2-3 tenths, this is not looking good for the Red Bull. It's also not looking good for the Mercedes, with Engbank gaining each corner. The 14 lap old hearts are really suffering here. And with Engbank's tires being 4-5 laps newer, this really is going for it. But Engbank gets another 3-second penalty after cutting the track limits again. And there is also problems in Swaneland, as a good friend Jamie overtakes Swan, who's actually, let me check if I saw that right. Oh god, what have I clicked? Okay, there we go. Yeah, I think Swan is in AI. Wait, actually let me check. Yeah, no, the gap can only be created by AI being slow. So that's problem for Swan the man. Yes, right now Oswaldo is really keeping up with Papi. And Papi may have to worry about this. And let me actually pull up the penalties. So with 0 penalties are Ross, Locker and Jamie, as Oswaldo now pulls a superbly placed overtake on Papi and gets to position 7. With 3 seconds are Wilds, Storm and Papi. And with 6 seconds are Engbank, Joe, Oswaldo and Swan. Obviously Papi had to spend 5 seconds in the pit lane longer, as Oswaldo goes for aggressive but great defense, and he spun around after a small bit of contact into turn 8, I think it is, and he's now right in front of Jamie. From my POV it was a racing incident, and right now Engbank is really putting the pressure on Storm. He knows he has only a few laps left to catch him and create a gap. And there's also Ross creeping up behind him. At this rate he's going to get kicked off the podium into P4 as Trucker overtakes Joe. And I think Jamie may also be on the hunt. I misclicked, sorry. Yes, Jamie sees those points. He wants those points that Oswaldo is having right now. And he knows he can get them. And let's see where else. Maybe Joe can get back at Trucker. As actually Enk is best Storm. And now without being hauled up anymore, he can start to try and gain time. A great job from the car number 30. Wait, is he actually having number 13? Don't say he's actually having number 13. I will cry if he actually has. I can't see if he actually has number 13. I really hope he doesn't. Yeah, that looks like 13 to me. Yep. It's confirmed. Engbank is Pesto Maldonado. But aside from that, instead of crashing, he's actually providing real good racing. And it shows. How much ERS he has left? Well, we can see there's almost no ERS for Storm, and Engbank has just as little. And I think because of penalties, Engbank is going to get kicked into P4. Even if Ross gets a penalty, it's still going to get P4 for Eng, which is going to hurt, getting P2 on track and dropping back to P4. As Jamie and Oswaldo are now going at it, and it's Oswaldo again that spins into the hairpin. That was a harsh fight. And it's also Engbank that's starting to create a gap here. And once it gets outside DRS range, it can go quick. As Jamie gets time penalty. But it doesn't matter that much, with only 2 laps to go. This is the only fight left. This is the only place that's not been decided on track yet. Of course, penalties in and outside the games are not counted within this statement. But as Wilds is going up the main straight and going to start his final lap, there is no denying that what has happened here has been a great league race, and I'm happy this is my first commentate job in season 7, because it has been an eventful race so far. Not too many incidents, just clean, good racing, and not even good racing, it was great racing from everyone. Maybe a few hits here and there, but that happens. As now the only one who's left to start his final lap is Sven. And I think as soon as Sven crosses the line, we'll switch over to a winner Wild and leave these two to fight it out. But he's done a major job so far. He's going to take the win by almost 10 seconds. He went as only one on the hards. And it seems like the alternate strategy has paid off his fair share. Now coming up to this main straight, I present to you the Tier 2 winner of the French GP. It's M. Wild G27. Then we have Engbank, but like I said, Engbank loses the podium because of penalties. He is in P5 with Storm getting P3, Ross P2, Trucker P4, Joe P6. Papimo takes P7. Jamie has retired on the final lap. What has happened? Oh my god, I think he spun at the final corner. Oh. Oh my, this is... Oh. Jamie was in for a glorious P8. And he threw it away at the very last corner as Sven overtakes him for P9. And there he goes, across the line into P9. But oh god. Yeah, driver of the day, I could not agree more. From P10 into the freaking lead of the race, and he kept it. It's just amazing to see. I present your winner, Wilds. And then we can see Wilds, Ross, Storm, Trucker, Ank, Joe, Papi, Oswaldo, Sven and Jamie. The fastest lap goes to Papimo with 1:37.36. And Norwich fan and Jamie isn't even counted as a DNF. So Norwich fan is the only one who DNF'd early in the race. Or actually quite late into the race. He retired on his own accord. I'm confusing qualifying here. But Wilds from 10th on the grid into the lead with the alternate strategy. The two-stop really screwed over a lot of people. And you could see that here in the race. I want to wish all of you a very nice weekend. And I hope you'll be with us for the rest of the races in this round. Goodbye.